Hello viewers, and welcome to a slightly different style of video. So for this new segment that I'm going to try out, I want to cover some newly released, interesting, or relevant automotive news, and then I'll end with no more than 2 minutes of my own personal opinions on whatever that subject matter happens to be. So let's just see if you guys like this kind of content, and I'm going to call this segment the Car Cave Corner. For the first video, I want to talk about Porsche's new car. So on January 25th, 2024, Porsche released the new Macan EV. It's basically a Porsche Macan for people that really like trees. And they're going to initially offer only two trims. You're going to have the Macan 4 and the Macan Turbo. But don't be fooled by the name Turbo. There's no actual turbochargers. Obviously, it's an EV, so it's really just the name of the trim. But how is that going to differ from the petrol-powered version of the Macan? Well, for starters, as you would expect, it doesn't run on petrol. It runs on magical electrical juices. Both trims are going to use the same permanently excited dual synchronous electric motors, one for the front and one for the back. This, of course, means that they'll both be all-wheel drive, although I would expect that sometime in the future they will release an even more base trim that will only be rear-wheel drive, much like they did with the Taycan. Now, I should also mention that they will have torque vectoring as well as the same dual-stage single-speed transmission. The battery capacity is claimed to be 100 kilowatt hours, but they also say that the usable capacity is 95 kilowatt hours, which means that is 95 kilowatt hours, because if you can't use that other 5, is it really there? But I'll flash up really quickly all of the boring stuff for you to be able to digest at your own pace. The 0 to 60 time of that turbo is actually the same as a McLaren 570S, which is a full-blown supercar. It's quite impressive. Now, the body of this new Macan EV takes more of a coupe aesthetic, and it's not done just to look good, it's done to reduce drag. The result is that it has a drag coefficient of just 0.25, making it one of the most streamlined SUVs in its class. Compared to the petrol-powered cousin, it's also 2.4 inches longer, 2.1 inches wider, and offers 4.4 cubic feet of additional cargo space. That thanks to the fact that there's no big petrol-powered engine in the front. You can just throw some goodies in there instead. The interior is also all new, although if you look very closely, despite the fact that it follows Porsche's new design signature, it appears that for the climate control, they've retained those little physical switches, which I'm a big fan of because I'm not a big fan of fully touchscreen surfaces. This being an EV, big question is range. There are no official EPA estimated values as of the recording of this video, but Porsche claims that it should be able to do 310 miles on a single charge. I would suspect that's for the Macan 4. Now, personal opinion time. I'm gonna put 2 minutes on the clock, otherwise I will talk for 25 minutes and it will make sense to nobody. So, starting that right now. My personal opinion on the new Macan EV, I actually really like it. I think that it was a much needed update to the aesthetics of that car because the Macan has really looked largely the same since the Cretaceous period. And I know that they did a mid-cycle refresh somewhere around the Stone Ages where they gave it the light bar and a slightly updated interior, and that was fine, but it didn't really change it enough to be noticeable to somebody that wasn't a Porsche-phile or that wasn't looking very, very closely. So I welcome the new body. I think it gives it a really nice, aggressive stance. The interior looks magnificent. I love, like I said, that the climate control still uses physical switches. I just wish that the gear selector would have stayed, but that's, I guess, the direction that Porsche is taking their interiors. So that's fine. If they were going to apply that body to the petrol-powered car, I might have to sell one of my livers to be able to get one. But unfortunately, I do use the word if because right now, it doesn't look like they're going to do that. They're still going to sell the petrol-powered car alongside the new EV, but they're not going to give the petrol-powered car all of the updates, which is really quite sad because as soon as that EV hits the market, it's going to make the petrol-powered car look so outdated. And I suspect that Porsche is doing this on purpose to push the EV platform. They don't want you to want the petrol-powered Macan, so they made the EV look so much better and be so much better. It is slightly more expensive, but you're buying a Porsche, so I think most of the clientele isn't really going to care because the new EV is such a nicer looking car and it's probably going to give you a lot better features. That's really quite sad to me, but I understand that that's the direction that Porsche is going. I'm not the biggest fan of it, especially when you think about the rumor that in 2025 we're not going to have a petrol-powered Macan at all. But I guess we'll see what happens. I am officially out of time. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts on the Macan EV, the direction that Porsche is going, and this style of video. Do you like the Car Cave Corner video, or would you prefer I not do them? Before I change them a little bit? Give me some feedback. That would be really, really helpful. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.